this special report.
This is an ABC Big Two News special report.
Here at Ratliff, football legends are made, and James "Boobie" Miles is no exception. While some went on to play pro, others went on to just live normal lives. Miles is now in year 2 of a 13-year prison sentence. We flew to Houston to hear his story.
13 years? He supposed to be 13
Friday
years
Night
in the
Lights.
league.
Those across West Texas and the country know them well.
Towards ACL
so does
back
James
then.
"Boobie" Miles. He was once a star running back for the 1988 Permian High School football team. That team was also the focal point of the book written by Bus Bissinger, Friday Night Lights, A Town, a Team, and a Dream.
Is it my best book? I don't know. But it obviously, touched the nerve. I didn't anticipate it would do as well.
That's how everything
happened.
happened.
It did well in Texas, but then it sort of took on like wildfire across the country.
After selling more than 2 million copies, that book was then turned into the hit movie Friday Night Lights, starring Billy Bob Thornton and Tim McGraw.
Gentlemen, the hopes and dreams of an entire town are riding on your shoulders. You may never matter more than you do right now.
Damn, books and movies written about you, now you in jail.
In the movie, a fictional depiction of Miles' life was portrayed by Derek Luke, who showed Miles' stardom was forever changed by an injury that ultimately led him to where he is today, sitting behind a security screen in the CT Terrell in Rocheron. The maximum security facility is home to more than 1,600 male inmates.
I spent almost 11 years in prison, off and on. It's not a good thing, but in here I also have put myself together in ways that I should.
Hold on, Boobie. We gotta break it down so the people can hear you.
11 years in prison.
The CT Terrell unit in Rocheron. The maximum security facility is home to more than 1,600
What did he do though? We need to know what he did.
I spent almost 11 years in prison.
Damn, Boobie.
Off and on. It's not a good thing, but in here I also have put myself together in ways that I should have been 30 years ago.
Miles was born in Houston, briefly lived with his parents, and was then sent to live with his uncle LV in Odessa after they lost custody.
And the abuse was horrific.
Boobie's dad had been having problems, and LV said he needed to be in a different environment. LV was strong, LV was kind, LV loved Boobie.
LV became a staple in Miles' life, and some call him Boobie's saving grace.
He too had the football dream, but he knew that Boobie could be volatile emotionally, and he was really good at settling him down, and Boobie really relied and depended and trusted him.
LV inspired Boobie to take the football field.
Football for me started out as a anger releaser.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I think it was the biggest.
I had a lot of anger as a kid, and my uncle felt like I needed to release that anger. That's what in fact, that's what he told me. He said, you angry all the time. You know what I'm saying? So he asked me one day if I wanted to play on his football team. I was like, yeah, I'll play.
By his junior year in 1987, Miles had rushed for 1,345 yards, establishing himself as one of the most promising running backs in the state.
People said he was phenomenally talented, a really men among boys in terms of his size, his speed.
As his brother used to say, he had muscles where muscles had no business being.
Really, at that point, at the age of 18, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to the NFL. That was my only focus at that time.
Teammate, defense attorney, and Miles' part-time legal counsel, Brian Chavez, also recalls the glory of those days.
Oh, it was the best time of my life. I mean, just, fun, exciting, just playing football with your best friends.
If I would tell anybody to be a Permian football player back in them days, man, it was like you was the mayor of the town.
Oh,
Miles' dream came to an end before his senior season could begin.
Yeah, in the game, yeah. If you play sports, man, and got hurt before, you know that feeling, man.
Miles described the injury as devastating to his football career.
And they put you on this pedestal so high. When a simple incident happens, you get hurt, they snatch that pedestal away from you, and you just You just like the dirt on the ground now. You don't matter.
He told me that the minute the injury happened, he knew deep in his soul
His
that it
career
was
is over.
If that knee
Yeah, well, you
didn't
know
get
it's
hurt,
over.
who knows what he could have become.
The injury changed everything for Miles.
When I knew it was going to be a hard road, for him to recover. I knew he was not going to get any scholarship offers, and I don't know if he would have, because academics are not his strong suit, in particular since they let him do anything he wanted.
Despite having to take specialized classes, Miles graduated from Permian High School and
Specialized
briefly
classes.
attempted college. Miles says education was not a focal point for football players at that time.
I don't even know how to
still ain't
dress it up
shit.
in a good way. You know, I mean, you know
Well,
what I'm
you-
saying?
I wasn't in my high
You
school,
play
yeah.
football, you're a starter.
Can't
Yeah.
fail you.
I was ignorant at the time.
Okay,
Ignorant
he
self
needs
thought
you to
that
play in the
was cool.
game.
He struggled to keep a job and eventually turned to a life of crime.
What was after that is when he came back to Odessa and did a lot of things. I'm sure you've pulled his criminal record. He spent a lot of time in the Exeter County Jail.
Miles' life was changed forever
Doing
when he
what?
lost
Yeah,
one
I
of
was
the
about to say, when
only
he
people
probably passed
cheering
away.
for him in the stands, LV.
That took everything out of him. And that's when everything started to go downhill for me, because I lost the only person on the planet that loved me, that truly, truly loved me, no matter what my flaws was.
He was the stabilizing influence in Boobie's life.
Miles then started down the road of becoming a serial criminal with charges related to drugs and assault. Miles found himself in and out of prison since 2006.
It's funny on how I could see patterns of my mom and dad come out of me while my kids is around. It's crazy.
While he was in jail for an assault charge, Miles got some unexpected news.
I got served papers about a 1999 aggravated sexual assault that they said it happened in June of 26, 1999, which I never got arrested for in 1999. I never even know this person who they talking about, but I got this indictment. I don't know who it is.
Court documents show Miles was charged with aggravated sexual assault in January of 2020. Miles denies that he was involved.
I wasn't
They want some of that
exactly
movie
a
money.
good guy back then, but I wasn't no rapist, man. Anybody will tell you that.
Miles' wife also denies that Miles was involved.
Men that do that, they don't just do it once. And there were never any other allegations.
Miles pleaded no contest to the charges, a move his wife believes was out of fear.
I will never, ever believe that he did that. I
This
do,
his wife
however,
is
believe
crazy, though.
That he was scared of a jury.
So I was pressing on taking it to trial, and then he kept telling me, man, you're gonna lose, you're gonna lose. They're gonna put her on the stand. I said, well, yeah, I wanna see who she is. I say, nah, man, you're gonna lose. So what am I supposed to do?
Miles
Man,
agreed
you're
to
in a
serve
bad
5 years
situation
in
at that
prison
point.
and register as a sex offender for the rest of his life.
For something I done do that, just imagine how I
Nah,
feel
don't
about
try to
that.
clean
After
up,
his release,
clean up the
Miles
face.
and his wife
If
returned
that's
to
what he
Odessa.
did,
Miles, as part of the plea deal, had to register as a sex offender. But there was some confusion when it came to his social media.
When he registered, I told the officer there are 3 accounts, but they're mine, but they're under Boobie's name. She said as long as he doesn't have the password, he doesn't log in, you don't have to report those. I didn't report him. You know, she told me to take my seat. She was there to speak to Boobie, not me. And so I continued using those social media accounts, and they used that against him in court.
And you give me 13 years for this. When all you had to say was, Mr. Miles, we need that information. I tried to give it to your detective, but she told me she didn't need it.
After promoting himself and social media on local news, Miles was charged with failure to comply with sex offender requirements in January
What?
2022. According to the arrest affidavit, none of Miles' social media was disclosed to the Odessa Police Department. We reached out to OPD, but the department declined to comment. Chavez says he regrets not getting more involved.
that's something that I kind of think about.
Yeah, ain't no way.
Sometimes at night.
He supposed to be in 15 years in jail.
If we would have represented him, if there would have been a different result.
Miles was sentenced to 13 years
13
in prison.
years?
It's a 2
For
to
not-
10.
for using
And they
Instagram?
gave him 13 years. And it was all so aggravating.
Miles tells us he looks back on the crimes he committed with regrets and wants the future to be
I don't
brighter.
know about
I apologize
the
for
allegations.
hurting anybody
Boobie.
that I have hurt.
But that's crazy.
I
though.
apologize for that, but I'm not gonna beat myself up about it no more. So being in here, and I call this the cocoon. I had to get it right. I gotta get it right.
Gotta come out a butterfly.
I call it the cocoon. But when I come out this time, I'll be a butterfly.
With an eye on the future, Miles has this message for any young kids struggling and falling into a life of crime.
I
Don't
want
do
people
it.
to know that there's 1,000, it's a million Boobie Miles out there.
Millions. I know a couple.
And I want them to know that y'all worthy, y'all worth.
Shit, it's too late. They already
in
where you
life.
at.
Y'all got a purpose in life.
He says anyone can learn from what has happened in his past.
That's what I said. He need a
My
movie about the
mistakes in
second
life
half
should
of
be
his
their-
life.
Their lessons.
Right now, Miles is not eligible for parole. He applied back in May of 2025.
Yeah, he
but was
gotta get
denied.
parole. That's
His
crazy.
projected release date is set for January of 2036. Reporting at
That
Rutgers
is
Stadium, I'm
wow,
Trey Francis.
bro. I ain't gonna